All right. Happy Sunday, everyone. We have survived another week and we are back for another magical coffee hour. So let's see what we can get going. Give some time for people to drift in. We already got 7 people in here. That's good to see. Still people clicking in. Saeed, good to see you again. Jesse Lee, hello. The name looks familiar, but I'm not sure I've seen you in the live streams. Either way, mugs up to you. Welcome, whether you're new or coming returning. Jade, good to see you. Paramount, good to see you. And there's Luna, our own favorite little mischief maker. Uh, Hope everyone has had a great week. Though I say that knowing that, let's be honest, it's been a weird week. But we try not to get into too many things like that here. So we'll try and behave, at least in that realm of behavior. That's why the name looks familiar, Jesse. Well, welcome. I'm glad you can make it to a live stream. Hopefully, we don't bore you. Hopefully, you get a good few laughs, and who knows, maybe I'll even be able to answer a question or two for you. Um, as for me, I have got to say this has been an amazingly busy week, people. I have to say there's a lot of things popping up and creeping up that I did not expect and have to plan for this year. So it's going to be taxing my time in places I didn't expect. So for my channel supporters and Patreon members, I'm still working on trying to get the live stream set up. Um, but it has been delayed slightly. I do apologize for that greatly. But we are working to do that. Now, I did also receive an email talking about possible changes to YouTube algorithm monetization, that crap, the normal. Someone's worried it may have an effect on my channel. I'll be honest with you. If you're the individual who sent me it, thank you. I always do love to be made aware of possible and potential changes floating down the river. At this point in time, there's no way to know one way or the other, but I do thank you. And luckily, we do have the Patreon and the channel supporters that do really help out with this channel greatly. Because I'll be honest, when it comes to monetization, we don't get much. It's really the channel supporters that keep the lights on. So I do appreciate that greatly. So you guys are amazing. Mugs up to y'all. Let's see. PG, welcome. Nixie, yeah, welcome. Uh, so, uh, Also, I have been just getting elated with questions about cryptids and aliens because I mentioned I was going to attempt to talk more about some of those research areas and why my sudden change. First, let me specify I haven't actually changed stances at all. When it comes to cryptids and aliens, I absolutely love the research on it. However, the research community has gotten more into the fanatical, they're going to believe anything no matter what is their thing. They're not really searching for evidence and proof. That kind of irks me. Um, but when it comes to cryptids and aliens and actually finding more tangible stuff, that I do enjoy. Um, and I am hoping to get more into that data and research and start sharing it on here because I think this is two areas where the scientific method approach to research and the occult really comes in and really plays its hand well there. And hopefully, if I start spotlighting the details in the research and the kind of evidence that we are looking for and that we should look for to prove these things, then maybe I could actually start being part of the change that I hope would come back to those communities because there used to be some really serious work there. And there still is. There still is serious work there. It just doesn't get the attention it should. So my stance really hasn't changed at all on that. It's just starting this channel up. We did focus a lot more on dragon magic and stuff like that. And I was trying to steer away from some of that because of some of the reputations those communities have had. But you know what? I'm tired of steering away from it. I want to get into some serious research and I want to start sharing that stuff if we can, possibly even pull open some of my old files from when I used to do some research. I just got to send out some emails, see if I can get some things to share, what I can share, and what I have to, where I would have to, like, say, client and not give a name, those kinds of things. Have I ever worked with Lilith? Absolutely, I've worked with Lilith. I love working with Lilith. Have I, or Cthulhu? Well, Cthulhu, I've worked within Lovecraftian Magick and the Necronomicon a bit. As to whether it is a real entity or an egregore, that is the $1,000,000 question that a lot of people present. I actually got really great results working with the Lovecraftian entities. However, are they egregores that function or are they true entities? That one's a little harder. I am hoping to do a deeper path working in that area, which I've mentioned here on this channel before. And actually, I'm thinking about, as I do the path working, actually filming and talking about it here on the channel. It's just a matter of getting the time to dive into it. But as far as yes, I have. But I've also seen that magic actually go really wonky for a lot of people. So it's not really one I recommend. But at the same time, it's one of those things where people's like, Drake, you don't recommend people do this, but then you've done this stupid stuff over here that yeah, I have. And that's one, do what you want to do. You're free. As a YouTuber person thingy and a teacher, I do have to recommend what, in my experience, would be the safer, easier, more productive roads. But that doesn't mean that those roads are right for everyone. Some people really need to jump into those deep ends. I get that. And, some people really have to have things go sideways before they learn anything. There's times, that's me. I'm hard headed as hell. So yeah. Hope that helps a little bit there. Dragon of the West asks, can you use magic to stop fears and obsessions? Technically, no. Fear is a natural response to your environment. It is literally a survival instinct. It's as natural as breathing. So because of that, you really can't stop it. Only a fool has no fear. In fact, if you have no fear, you're not brave, you're not courageous, you're an idiot. Fear is a natural response. It's your response to the fear that you need to look into. Can you maintain your calm? Can you maintain your intellect? Can you maintain your mental facilities in the face of fear to do what it is you need to do, whatever that may be? That is the important thing to look at. You can't do away with fear. It is a natural response of the human condition and is a requirement of growth. Obsessions, now obsessions are more about addictions and letting go. This would be something that you could do with shadow work, but you can't just do a spell and maybe throw it away, because you need to understand why you're obsessing, why you're hyper focused on this thing if you're going to do away with it. Magic can help you gain that understanding, but if you want to just do a spell and flip a switch and be free, not going to happen. I'm trying. Mister, good evening, Jedi. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, as you all can see, it has been crazy busy around here. Like I said, I got friends and colleagues emailing me, calling me. Ooh. Funnily enough, I actually got a comment from someone. One of my friends speaks Russian, so she actually read the comment to me, but I didn't recognize it. She saw it, and apparently the dude said I had bruises under my eye. Newsflash, people. I don't get a lot of sleep, so yes, I have dark circles. In my earlier videos, you may notice I hid my dark circles behind my glasses. I don't wear glasses anymore. I can't hide them as easily. And contrary to my daughter's wishes, I am not going to learn to do makeup. I ain't got the patience. Not that I mind it. In fact, I've had my makeup done. I look good. I look real good. I just ain't got the patience to do it. Much like the reason I either have my hair long or bald, I ain't got the patience to fix my hair. So it's either long, pull it back in ponytail, or buzzed off shave because I got better things to do. Um, but yeah, so I do have the dark circles. I don't get much sleep. I'm a workaholic. If I have a question, I cannot go to sleep until I have at least some semblance of an answer to that question. It drives my wife crazy, but it's who I am. My brain's always going a mile a minute, or sometimes 25 miles a minute. Um, so, you got to do what you got to do. I will say this, though. I'm sleeping far better these days than I have in years. There was a good 8-year period. Insomnia and me were best friends. We were always together. You never saw us separated. Yeah, productivities were up, but man, I was tired as hell. Let's see. Da-da-da-da. Let's see what we got going on in here. It's with okay. Do-do-do-do. Oh, both of the entities are wonderful to work with, as is Azazel, Belial, and Lucifer and Abaddon. All of them are actually a lot of fun to work with. Da-da-da-da. Let's see, Luna, worry not, have a tin hat ready. How is shadow work done? For beginner Shadow of the West, I would check out. We actually have a video here on shadow work, beginner level easy shadow work. There's a video here on the channel for it. Go check that one out for sure. That would be the easiest way to get started, because shadow work gets intense. It really does, because you are dealing with a lot of crap that your shadows consist of everything you try to hide from yourself and the world. This includes fears, traumas, like there's a lot of emotional healing and everything that goes on in shadow work, and it requires you to face it head on and process it and think about it and understand it. Shadow work is not easy. It is not easy. I would say it's necessary, but it's not easy. And I do encourage people to do it. It's just, if you jump into too deep of waters, it can get out of hand. So the video I've done on shadow work for beginners, that's a good place to get started. And I personally don't know your skill level, whatnot, which is one of the reasons I do handle things the way. And I've seen people get offended, like, I've been doing magic for 30 years. How dare? I don't know how long you've been doing something. I don't know what practices you have. I know people that's done magic for 30 years. All they did was candle magic. They don't have the experience to jump into shadow work. So you all have to understand, when I'm answering a question, I have to answer it on a very broad spectrum, because unless you and I talk on a regular and I know your exact skill set, your path, and all that, I have to be mindful of this. Also, when I'm answering this, I'm trying to answer it for a lot of people. So there's also that. So cut me some slack, folks. Luna, honestly, they aren't as bad as they used to be from where I stand. I think the diet is helping there a bit. Oh, thank you, Luna. Thank you. Actually, I have been sleeping more, so they have been clearing up a bit. Now, the diet could actually be helping in that, Luna. You are correct. But yeah, I always laugh when people talk about the bruises. Some people's even said I have makeup. Again, don't have the patience to do it, but yeah. It's just lack of sleep, folks. What can I say? I come on here, natural, no makeup, no nothing, goatees all crazy. I mean, look at this big strip of gray. I tell my daughter she gave me that. That's all her fault right there. We are doing an introduction video on Lilith, as to the Necronomicon and Lovecraftian gods. We are wanting to do videos on those. As I said earlier, and I am hoping to get those started soon. But again, I am a one-man team of idiots, and it's managing to find the time to get everything done. Because I have so much in my daily life that I got to take care of. I got friends, family, colleagues, and students I got to keep up with, as well as this channel. And this channel is very much a priority. Don't get me wrong when I say this. This channel is very much a priority for me. I have seen the good it's done so many people. But I got to get the time to do it, and I am going to try and get that out there as quickly as I possible. It's just got to find the time because I'm also working on a lot of my own private path workings and stuff that because I got to keep my practice up. If I didn't have a practice to keep up, I'd have a lot more free time. Let's see. And be prepared for 2029. I'll be honest with you, Nanik. See, when any entity, I don't care what it is, tells me to beware of insert year, insert event, I'm old enough. I have lived through more than 80 ends of the world prophecies. And what isn't determined as beware of this, beware of, oh, woe is me. The world goes through cycles, good, bad, shit shows. It happens. That's going to happen. And also, what is bad, where, when, and what is determined to be bad is a matter of perspective. And I really don't worry about it anymore. Like I said, I've lived through too many into the world events that I seriously just laugh at them anymore. Period. If the world ends, it's going to end. If something bad happens, it's going to happen. And I'll be honest, I don't give a shit. Um, I can spend my days worrying, or I can spend my days enjoying. Guess which one I'm going to pick. Um, Now that said, I know how to deal when the shit hits the fan, power goes out. My house here, you could take the power, the water, cut it out for 3 years, I'd be fine. And that's just with what I've already got settled. Um, Calculate in gathered resources after, I'm coasting. I'm easy. So yeah, I just don't worry about that. The same way I don't even a lot of people with my scientific approach, they're like, well, why don't you follow astrology? That's one of the more mathematically backed magics. Because I'm a magician, my life, my energy pattern, all that is mine. I determine it, not the stars, not the moon, not miles of gas, billions of miles away, and their relative position. Those energy patterns, they may or may not affect me, but it doesn't matter when I'm actually the one controlling the energy in my life. So, yeah. Let's see. A bit of glittery rouge wouldn't hurt. Luna, no, no glitter. We know this. No glitter. Bad Luna. Bad. Um, Also, we got 15 people in here hanging out with us tonight and only 7 likes. People, if you don't mind and you even if you're just making fun of me, give me a thumbs up here in order to support the channel. The algorithm loves those thumbs up for some reason. So go ahead and give us that thumbs up. Help us out. That way, more people who's looking for this information can hopefully find it. Join us in here, get some help or inspiration, even. Because sometimes it's not help, it's just strictly information. We're not Chat seems a little calm tonight, which is okie dokie. I know everybody's had a rough week for sure. But if it does pick up, do remember we do have the super chat, so it'll flash your question up on the screen really big in the case that I miss it. Or if you just want to donate and help out the channel, that's also something you can do. I've had people drop enough money for me to buy a cup of coffee. Hey, appreciate it. Mugs up. Always love me some coffee. Let's see. Do you need to wear your hat during the day when you're working to help focus your energy? No, I actually, I when I'm at home, I don't actually wear my hat around the house. I do wear the hat in the live streams, especially since I shaved my head because well, let's be honest, my bald head reflects light. You've all even made fun when I take the hat off and it just like, whoo. So I do wear the hat because of that. And when I started growing my hair out and it looked awful there for a while is when I started wearing it. But anyone who knows me outside of the channel, anytime you see me outside the house, I've always got my hat with me. It is so weird for me to leave the house without my hat. It's weird because apparently if people see me without my hat, they think something's wrong. So it's just kind of part of who I am. Like my jacket, I usually have that with me, or my black button-ups. Some things are just comfort items for you. But no, I can focus my energy perfectly fine without it. Um, so that's pretty standard. But that's actually a good question. I mean, I can't say I don't have any enchantments or wardings on my hat for when I leave the house. I do. Um, but no, it's not required. Espresso tonight. Hey, espresso's good stuff. Actually, speaking of espresso, so we went shopping, and apparently the Bucks of the Stars, y'all know what I'm talking about. They got their spring limited edition, which whatever. It was on sale, and it's the seasonal one, and the flavor notes sounded interesting. Me and the wife decided to try that out. But if you see it, you might consider giving it a try. I got to admit, we bought it. It's been pretty decent. I wouldn't replace any of my standard go tos with it, but it's a pretty decent cup of Joe. Pretty decent, pretty decent. I'd have to remember what context I was using that in, because most of the time around the house, I don't wear my hat, and most of my ritual work's done at home. Um, I think unless I'm somewhere helping a client or camping, I think all my ritual work's done without my hat. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. It is true that I have one of the wards I have on my hat is that makes sense now, Jedi. That makes a lot more sense. I've used some wards around on my hat to attempt to work and help with my interference with electronic devices, as so many of you are aware of. Some have been more effective than others. Some haven't done jack shit. Um, but there does seem to at least be some slight help there when it comes to it. For example, if we go to the store, the card reader, if it's not working, my wife will ask me to step back, and it suddenly starts working. That distance that I can be seems to improve greatly when the wards that I've placed in the hat tend to be in place. Um, I chose the hat mainly because we currently live in an area where it gets too hot to wear my jacket all the time. So the hat's something I have with me all the time. Well, one of my hats, as y'all know, I got more than one. Actually, one of them's sitting over here beside me right now. Um, so yeah, but that would make sense. Okay, yeah. But beyond that, no, it's not about focusing. It's more of the radiant interference of me screwing with electronics. Me and electronics don't get along. My wife still laughs at the fact that me and technology pretty much hate each other, and yet somehow I ended up on YouTube. I didn't see it coming. When you standard coffee is the equivalent of seven nails hammering on your brain, screaming, "Wake up, Drake!" Hey, Lena. I like my coffee so strong that when I take a drink, it wakes the whole neighborhood up. You know what I mean? What? Whoa, whoa, hold on. What the? Power uh, $50 super chat. Oh my God, Perwin, mugs up to you, mate. Thank you greatly for your support, mate. Man, that was awesome. Is there going to be a Dragon Magic 103 in the future? And Discord is finally speaking to me again. All right. Awesome. Glad you got that Discord thing worked out, mate. Looking forward to seeing you back in the server. If you want to come, I don't think you ever left. But if you did, come on back. We miss you, mate. And for the primary question, the Dragon Magic 103. Yes, there will be a Dragon Magic 103. We are working on that. Its exact release date, can't be 100% sure. I would like to see it out next year. And the reason for that is when you look at the time frame for the minimum time it would take to get through 101 and 102, unless you rush through it and don't take the minimum time, even people who signed up the day of launch wouldn't really be done truly working through that material until later this year. And then there's that whole, you got to take the time to really absorb it and process it. So I'm wanting to make sure I don't release before that, because let's be honest, there is a bad history of people rushing through shit when it comes to the occult. And the dragons are really, really picky about that. So I'm not going to get in trouble with the dragons in order to release it quicker. But there is actually going to be a 103. And for those in the Discord, you've probably heard that there will actually be a 104 that even follows that. So yes, those are definitely major, major projects that we are actually actively working on. Many of you know we are currently hoping to this year get out an evocation course that falls into the detailed stuff on evocation and summoning that we just can't really do on YouTube. And we're wanting to dive really deep into that topic and subject, as well as hopefully a Norse magic course. One of my colleagues said I'm a damn fool for attempting to get both of them this year. And I might be. But I figure if I try to get both of them, you know what? I might get one of them at the very least, and the next one shortly thereafter. Good, because I need a break from working in the 102, and it is really consuming for me. God, you know, apparently that is the thing. 102, when we get into the dragon alchemy in 102 and working with the specialty dragons, there is a lot that we are doing energetically, healing, learning, transmutation. 102 is actually a really massive working that we're doing on ourselves. And that's for a reason, because 102 is really, truly helping to reinforce, build you up, and strengthen you and get you ready for the work that will be in 103, because 103 is going to ramp it up to a whole new level. In some ways, 103 is like take everything you learned in 101 and 102, combine that, and turn it up by like 100 times. So, you know, yes, take your time, absorb it, take the time off. Because, you know, sometimes in my experience, you know, you really hit your ritual work, you know, you're doing your healing, you're doing your shadow work, you're doing your alchemy, your transmutations, everything's building, everything's coming. But much like a good chili, your chili's done. But when you let it settle and let it sit, it's better the next day. It needs to rest. So yeah, definitely take that time and rest. It's a really good thing there. And again, thank you for the super chat, mate. That was if that's US dollars, I don't even know what to say, mate. That's amazing. Thank you so much for your support. And if it's not, you know what? Still, thank you so much. Thank you. Infinite dimensional. Did you get any interest in pyramid activation? To some extent, I've tinkered with different pyramid concepts. I'm trying to figure out how to best explain this, because I will admit in my research, most of the comments when it comes to pyramids and they're kind of being placed up on this major pedestal, I found absolutely no results that would actually back that. I really haven't. What I have found, and I have found quite interesting, is when it comes to focusing energy, um, pyramids are actually a really nice geometrical shape that actually does tend to help focus energy, not necessarily generate and do all these multi-planar, Lord only knows what they're credited for these days, but does focus. In fact, this one of the things. One of my friends actually built like a copper pyramid frame. The center's hollow, but the frame's there to help focus energy down. And you could place something in the center of it. And I thought that was a pretty interesting concept. And they've got great results with it. And then they kind of flipped it upside down. So they had one on top and one on bottom, kind of channeling it. And again, I thought this was awesome. And they've got some pretty interesting energy focus results with that. So it has, at least at the very least, shown really great results in energy flow and focusing energy flow and moving it, which makes a lot of sense. In fact, if you look at the Dragon's Eye seal, which ain't behind me for once, you've got that pyramid in the center of it. The Dragon's Eye itself, that Dragon's Eye triangle, if you look at it, it's a pyramid with that focus point. Actually, you know what? Our very own Jade sent me this. It's an acrylic little thing that it has a light on my desk and it lights up. But this triangle here is often referred to as the Dragon's Eye triangle. And that's essentially a pyramid that is, focusing. So as a focuser, I do think there is something to that. And I do find that particular research kind of cool. And now I'm having trouble putting this up because I'm an idiot. There we go. Now we got it. Sorry about that. I couldn't get it in the little stand. It's reeled up. Power one. That is amazing. Thank you so much, mate. That is really amazing. Thank you. Kevin McCrew. New to your set, have been watching videos. Really like the way you look at and do your work. How long have you been doing Magick? Black Flame 13. So officially studying Magick, right around 20 years, give or take a few. Officially studying Magick. And that's starting out actually saying, I'm leaving the church. I'm going to look into different religions. I'm going to look into different spiritual concepts. And Magick has always been something that interested me. However, when it comes to meditation, general energy work, energy control, glossolalia, a lot of magical practices I actually have practiced far longer because I grew up Southern Baptist and moved into a Assemblies of God / Pentecostal kind of church. And let's be honest, they utilize magical practices and they teach them there. So though I didn't know what they were, I had been practicing them and had been trained in them. And then I had a mentor who was weirdly atheist, but he had a background from his family in Eastern mysticisms, and he was proud of his heritage, so he would share those wisdoms with me. So if you add in that time frame, nearly 30, yeah, I'd say 30 years. I was about to say 35, but I'm going to say we'll shorten it to 30. So it's just been a part of my life. And actually growing up in the South, especially in the Appalachians where I did, Appalachian root work and Appalachian magic and whatnot, it was just something that was there. Home remedies is what a lot of people called it, but it, my Mama Payne is who we called her, which was, well, we called her Mama Payne, then we had Mama, and Mama Payne was Mama's mom. Shows you how Southern I am. She would talk about this stuff all the time, and she would actually flat out call it, root working and folk magic, and what she called it for what it was. But yeah, I mean, so it was always there. It's always just been a part of my life. Parlin, hey, mugs up. Thank you for signing up for tier 3. Thank you very much. Love the support, mate. You all really do make the difference. And even though I know that, people worry about changes to the YouTubing and all that, you know what? Even if YouTube says no ads on your channel, we don't like what you're doing, I can honestly say with the support I get from you all, this channel ain't going nowhere. We're going to keep on doing what we're doing. We're going to keep on sharing what we share, and we're going to keep on trying to better ourselves as best we can. So, mugs up to all of y'all who help support this channel. Appreciate it. Even if it's just sharing the videos and watching them, that actually helps greatly. You'd be surprised. See, great chili metaphor. Jedi can't help it, man. I'm country as hell. So there's going to be a chili metaphor. There's going to be a chili metaphor. I mean, what's life without a good chili metaphor? You know what I mean? As it was last stream, we decided we got to do a rib video on how to utilize ribs in Magick. Remember? Angela said that. Oh my God, where's Angela tonight? Oh, that's not good. I miss her. So yeah, we got to do us a rib video too. Which it's actually warming up here, so I'll be able to get some nice ribs and get out there and fire up that smoker. Luna, I am actually working on your carrot video. Don't worry. The carrot video will actually be filmed before the rib video, Share. I have not forgotten your carrot video, I promise. So yes, I do promise that. Though I may have to do it without actually having a carrot in the video, because I never buy carrots, and unless I'm going to have to ask my wife if she'll eat them, because otherwise I don't want to waste the food. So yeah, I may talk about carrots, maybe flash it. Here's what a carrot looks like up on screen. Get a picture. Thanks for thanks. Focus is critical for mental dimensions and emotional ones too. I have another question coming, not sure when. Oh, no problem. Like I said, I try not to completely dismiss. As I've stated, I deal with data and proof. Well, the church kind of killed me on spirituality and faith. I'll just say it like it is. So there are a lot of concepts within that spiritual paradigm that work for a lot of people. And I find it fascinating, but the data just doesn't support it. And I would even say to some extent that's a limiter for me, because I understand faith magic. I understand how faith magic works. It's extremely powerful, but it requires faith. Faith magic is a type of magic I can't tap into because I require data. I don't have faith. I am a faithless son of a bitch. So I don't discredit, I don't discount it, I don't dismiss it, but at the same time, when asked, I can only answer the question as best as I possibly can within that. And I do still find it an interesting area of thought and research even. That's one of the reasons when I teach, I tell you I'm building a framework, and if you're doing something, even if I disagree with it, and it's working for you, you're getting the results you want to see in your life, you keep on doing that. You keep on rocking that. You keep on being the best you can be. That's amazing. My only critique has ever been, if you're doing the same thing over and over and it ain't working, pump the brakes, step back, look at it, maybe make an alteration then. That's my only critique ever. So yeah. Let's see. I make a big giant crock pot chili spicy myself. Oh yeah, good spicy chili. It's good stuff. It really is. My wife has me make chili quite often. So, and actually, I do a nice carnivore chili. All y'all know I try to eat largely carnivore, as Luna said. My diet and fitness is making me look a little better. So chili is one of the things where I've tinkered with it to make it kind of a carnivore little delight. So I eat a lot of chili because of that. It's nice to do it. Let's say, Luna, good. I'll buy you a bag of carrots and get them different face. Luna, you crazy. Dragon of the West, how do we open our energy centers and channels? Well, this actually depends based on, it differs from tradition to tradition to tradition. First thing off, let's understand one thing here. Technically speaking, if you actually research chakras and go far enough back, chakras are not a literal thing in the way we talk about them today. They were what was called an energetic map. It is a map to give you a basic understanding of the entire energy body. The energy body of a human being is a singular, solid one thing, not broke up into all these different things. However, that energy map gave you a way to focus on different concepts, ideals, and portions, and gave you a visualization that for some people is easier to work in those specific areas and thus affect the entire energy body as a whole by working in those areas. However, for some people, that does not work. And for some people, they need to actually step out of that paradigm, step out of that energy map, and work with the energy body as a singular whole. And by working with it as a whole, they get far better results. And that's the thing. It's you got different paradigms that function differently and will actually work better for different people. So you have to take that in consideration. Me personally, I love to work with the energy body as a whole, but you also hear a lot these days of chakra removal. Okay. Well, what that is they're actually not removing the chakras because, as we said, they're not an actual literal. What they are actually doing is they're removing the concept to get back to that energy singular whole and work more directly with that entire energy body. Um, Depending on who you are and who you talk to and what tradition you work in, some people might think that blasphemous. But from where I stand, if it works for you, you do you. Our energy centers are always open. You'd be dead. If your energy centers aren't open, you're dead. You're a corpse. And we're not. None of us are because we're on here. We're having us a good time. We're goofing off. We're drinking coffee, talking chili, and apparently carrots with faces. So yeah, all of us are open. The question is whether or not you are attuned to that energy and its flow. Um, and to that, Dragon of the West, I know it's a long-winded roundabout, but I would actually say work on your meditation and visualization. Those are some of the better ones, and that's energy work and visualization, and is heavily covered in my meditation course and even the basic meditation video here. All great ways. We also did a energy working video, I believe. It's been a while, but I'm wanting to say that's still up. If it isn't, I'll have to work on getting a new one up. But I want to say it is. And then, of course, you got the astral sanctum, which would be doable. Let's see. Give us a recipe for your chili, please, for your non-American students. Okay. Oh, let me ask this, because if I'm going to do a video to give you all a chili recipe, let me ask you: do you want the carnivore recipe, or do you want what is called my game day chili? Because many of you know, my friends and I get together, we play D&D, we goof off. Well, back in the day, um, they insisted I perfected a chili recipe for the group, and that game day chili recipe that anytime we got together for D&D, that's what they wanted. That's what we're making. Um, but it isn't carnivore. Well, actually, it's not too far off, really. It's at least keto. Um, but I can either do the carnivore recipe first or that one. Carnivore. All right. So we'll do the carnivore one. All right. I will put that on the list and I'll get that filmed for y'all. Um, See, is data with chaos? Infinities. What do you mean is data with chaos non-consequential? Technically, I'd say data is still very, very important. In fact, if you've read the book Condensed Chaos, you would actually, in that book, though it's focused on chaos magic, if that's what you're talking about, data is very important to that paradigm. The way we use the term chaos magic today and the way it was originally utilized is very, very different. They were actually more data focused than any practitioners of their time, which I found fascinating. Now, if you're talking about just chaos as in the concept there, within our multiverse, um, true chaos in the concept of anything that would completely discredit or throw out data doesn't exist. There is a pattern, there is an order to everything in some shape, form, or fashion. Chaos in and of itself would be more absolute potential, which is when you're working with a cliff author within the even the tree of life, when you have to cross the void or doth, um, the void itself is largely the infinite nothing, but the entirety of potential. So it is everything and nothing at once. And that is a greater concept of chaos. Chaos is largely change of creation. I mean, let's look at Loki, for example. A lot of people give Loki shit and just, he's a god of chaos. All he wants to do is wreak havoc and destruction. No, no, he is a god of chaos and creation. If you read the Eddas, every time he caused trouble, those around him benefited. He was about change, and change is a vital necessity of life, growth, and ascent. Without change, you're nothing. So, but that change has a purpose, it has an order, it has a reason. So, understanding that is actually pretty important. In fact, I had a mentor that once said, chaos or luck was the logic of chaos, so that you could actually harness chaos and create your own luck and your own manifestation there, which I actually found a pretty freaking insightful back in the day. In the kitchen and make carnivore chili, southern style. Just start throwing it together. Well, that's not too far off, Jedi. That's actually one of the things. I when it comes to presenting you all with a recipe, I'm going to have to sit down and actually think about what I put in there because you're right. I know every ingredient that goes in, but as my wife will tell you, my wife loves recipes. To me, a recipe is hamburger seasoning. It's I tell you the items, I don't tell you the amounts because I'm Southern. I eyeball everything. So the interesting thing for this chili recipe is I'm actually going to have to stop, sit down, and think how much am I putting in here, which actually is kind of fun for me, really. I don't know if I've said this before, but when it comes to these kitchen magic videos, anytime I have to talk about a measurement, I actually find that fun because it actually slows me down in my method of cooking to think, how can I pass this on to the next person? Um, because you can't just pass instinct. You kind of got to, how do you communicate what you're doing to someone? Um, Especially if they're not just standing there right beside you so they can see the amount. Um, so I'm actually enjoying the kitchen magic videos because it's causing me to slow down a little bit and think about that, which is going to allow me to critique some of my things and hopefully pass my cookbook on to my daughter or someone, if that makes some sense. Uh, To be honest with you, when it comes to what happens after we pass on, whether you're a good person, bad person, virtuous person, sinner, saint, it really depends on your actual religious beliefs. Christians, there's actually afterlives that's sectioned off for Christians. Norse pagans, there's afterlives separated off for those people who believe within the Norse paradigm. Egyptian paradigm, same thing. Celtic paradigm, same thing. Olympian paradigm, same thing. It really depends on your belief system. There are more than one afterlife. There is more than one concept of an afterlife. And because of that, it really does depend. There is no one absolute punishment. There is no one absolute reward. It really depends on who you are and what you believe and all that. Even if you don't have a belief, you would end up in the place that you most aligned with. And not all of them have punishments. Sorry. And I will remind you all before we start talking about heaven and hell and punishment and, smiting evildoers, do remember we don't really bash one religion or the other. So, and what is a good person and what is an evil person? Unfortunately, that in and of itself is a matter of perspective. What is normal for the spider is chaos for the fly. Remember that. And that is a very important concept when we are discussing moral superiority and right and wrong. And far too many people are quick to jump on their soapbox of superiority. Okay, Dragon of the West. This is the last time I'm going to answer this question for you because I know I've answered it 3 times for you personally. So write this down. The soul is too big to fit into this meat suit. So every incarnation is a small piece of that soul. Think of it as a fragment. Okay? So if I took this coffee cup, went outside on the sidewalk, and smashed it into a bazillion little pieces, each piece would be an incarnation. Each incarnation has its own personality, it has its own lessons, it has its own memories, and it can learn and it gains its own experiences. And essentially, the entirety of the soul, however big that may be, honestly, it's too intangible to really put into a size value that's going to make sense, would essentially take its turn through time. This is why, actually, if you learn evocation, you can evoke your past self without dropping on the floor unconscious. Because if we only had one soul and you evoked something in front of you that was you, you just evoked your soul out and now you feel stupid, don't you? Although that would be funny. I'm not going to lie. But you can evoke that past self and you can talk to it. You can talk about its experiences. And those experiences are actually both connected and completely separate from the other pieces. Now, once that cycle is complete, this is where we get into a bit of the theoreticals because there's a bit of debate. Some people think if you have not reached the point of ascent, once you get through all those pieces, the pieces start to recycle until you hit ascent. Some people think that once all the pieces get through it, you ascend. And then some people think you ascend quicker because if you do the work, because you can ascend before all the pieces. At the point of ascent, though, they all climatize to a singular, and the dominant personality and identity would then take over. And then you go on about your existence as a full ascended spiritual being, not a physical being incarnating within the physical. Hope that helps a little bit. What is the difference between human and non-human entities? Physical. Honestly, once we ascend, there's not really much difference. There isn't. There's very few entities that we would differ from. Let's see. Hope that helps a little bit there. See when we're at 54 minutes. Oh Lord, this one's flown by tonight, people. This has been great. Definitely needed this, man. I've been so worked. It's really great to just slide in here and get to chat with you all. I have really needed this. Human is us. Human entities are means. It's Angela. Hey, there you are, Angela. I was saying I missed you, girl. Good to see you. We've been talking about me being overworked, me having dark circles under my eyes. Luna was threatening to send me carrots with faces on them. We were talking about the fact that I promised to make you a magical rib video. So there was that. Uh, yeah. We've been talking about the fact that I have been busy. Oh, yep, got to do a chili video too. Um, I even use chili as an analogy. Uh, so yeah, it has been a busy night. If you get a chance, Angela, definitely pop back and give it a rewatch. We're getting ready to wrap up here. We got about 5 minutes to go, which is pretty cool. Let's see. I will say this. Okay, I want to say this, and I'm going to try and say this without getting too direct. And we don't want to get political. We don't want to get religious. We don't want to do any of that crap. All right. Chili, magic chili, magic ribs. Is there magic loaded back? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. And I may have to do that video too. Um, so let's do it this way. There's a lot going on in the world. And I think every one of us is in one shape, form, or fashion feeling some of it. Okay. Um, and this is kind of important to me, and I want to share it with you all. And I think this is something many of us need to remember. Um, Good times come, bad times come, and they do pass. Things are changing, they will always be changing. Yes, things will get stressful, and for some people, more stressful and more difficult than others. That is true. What I would encourage every one of us to do, and I'm talking to myself on this, when we lay down tonight, remember how good we got it. Even in the crappiest of situations, we have blessings. We have something in our life to be thankful for. And when we wake up tomorrow, remember those things as well. But also remember whether tomorrow is going to be a good day for you or a bad day for you really determines by you. What do you want it to be? Because just because a day is hard or a day is easy doesn't make it good or bad. That day ends up being what you make of it. There's always something for us to learn. There's always something for us to utilize to grow, to become a better person. We always have that choice that we could smile at somebody and perhaps brighten their day or help somebody with something. Or we could, snarl at them and, give them that what the fuck you looking at look. And, you know, the little things can make a lot of difference to a lot of people. So with the everything as crazy as it is right now, let's try to remember it is up to us to whether we have a good day or a bad day, and let's try to help out our fellow men and women, whatever it may be, even if it's just a smile or, in my case, occasionally it's helping reach that top shelf at the grocery store. It it's really amazing how much my long arms have just made people's day because I can reach something for them. You know, it sounds silly, but even when I'm out and about, I get compliments on my jacket or my hat. It sounds silly because I wear them all the time, but you know what? Still feels good. Still feels good. Um, so even just being a little polite and showing a little manners can help so many people and just brighten their day. It really is amazing. Um, so yeah, that's what I'll say without getting going too far down the crazy political crap that we try to avoid on this channel for many reasons, many reasons. But do uh, try to keep that in mind. I think it'll help all of us out. Just remembering our blessings, for one, makes it easier to know we're to have that good day, and to be able to pass even just a smile or hold the door for somebody. Um, you'd be surprised how much that can mean to that person. Really. Okay. All right, everybody. Before I get too sappy and emotional and blah blah blah, you know that. We're going to pop off here. Jade's already throwing clocks at me, as we can see. So the clocks are already being thrown. And now Luna's throwing carrots at me, dang it. So we will go ahead and pop off here. You all have a fantastic week. Everyone who's in the Discord server, I'm going to try to be there more this week than I was last week, but it is still crazy around here. It is crazy, crazy, crazy. So if I don't pop in as much as I usually do, I apologize ahead of time. Do keep up with the weekly challenges and whatnot. And as far as my 6-month challenge, I do try to update y'all there. I think I updated it this week, and I am going to be updating it again, hopefully Monday or Tuesday. Seeing some pretty good results there. In fact, I've noticed that everybody is seeing some great results on that 6-month challenge. That is amazing. I'm proud of every one of y'all. And until next time, have a fantastic week. Take care. Good night. Bye bye.